Are ye landlubbers? Ye be looking for a Lorcana deck that lets you sail the high seas and win with locations? Then you've come to the right place. This is our Pirate Location Assault deck here for a Lorcana Wednesday at Rudros Entertainment. So it's all about the pirates, the pirate theme. I will say up front, I tried to really go hard on the pirate theme with cards like the new Red Captain Hook, but I found him to be a little underwhelming, as well as a few of the other pirates. So I scaled it for a more, I guess, I don't know if you'd say traditional, but just something that I thought was a bit more competitive. So obviously for the pirate theme, we have cards like Base Captain Hook. Mr. Smee is a pirate as well. John Silver is the real star in the payoff of the deck as he gets more lore and resist for all these beautiful locations we have in play. And if you're running a bunch of locations, you got to be running some Jim Hawkins, so he's in here as well. And then beyond that, again, I tried cards like the Hook. I originally didn't run Be Prepared, but I found that the problem was I could only win through challenging. And so if they, put like something that's a 3-cost unexerted into play, I just didn't have many ways to interact with it. So Be Prepared helps you out if you get behind. And I just put in more traditional beaters like Maui. Sorry, new Captain Hook, but Maui's just a better card. He just is. That new Hook overly relies on you having the Jolly Roger in play. Now, Jim Hawkins, it might seem weird to see him only at 2, but he's just a bit of a weird card. There is no doubt that the value you get for paying 5 for Jim, putting a location into play for free, especially if it's something expensive like RLS Legacy or Agrabah, you've essentially cheated for ink, cheated 3 ink. That's huge. But without a location, he just feels like a dead card. You don't ever actually just want to play this card unless you have a location. And even in a deck with this many locations, that was a little tricky. The other thing is, you pretty much need this in all your decks. You gotta have ways to draw cards, right? So Robin Hood into Champion of Sherwood is nice. If he gets banished through a challenge, he's going to get you an extra card. Beast Tragic Hero is a way to just keep the card draw flowing. And then we have A Whole New World, as it's one of the best ways to just refill your hand and steal. Scar Vicious Cheater just is one of really good at challenging both a character and then he can turn his eyes on a location as well. Unfortunately, he doesn't ready off of hitting a location, which feels a bit like a misstep, but that's about it. Maui's Fish Hook helps with both the Scar and the Maui. They can hit any location as big as, McDuck Manor if they need to. Rise of the Titans to smash counter locations or items should someone be playing those. And a few smash in case someone drops a pesky Ursula on turn 3, and this is a good way to deal with them. So that's the idea. Hey's really nice here too, as again, he can bounce back and forth between locations, keep siphoning lore from people. In your opening hand mulligan, ideally, you just kind of want to curve early. I wouldn't say this is an aggressive deck, but you do want to put on early pressure. It's not really going to outlast something like Ruby Amethyst or Ruby Sapphire in the late game, so the sooner you can win, the better. Ideally, you want a John Silver and a location. If you can open with a big location plus Jim, you can hold on to that. Can be a little risky because, again, it's going to take you to turn 5 to get to Jim. But, yeah, you essentially want to curve out. If you can get the Robin Hood play, always go for that. Always go for Robin Hood play, especially if you can follow it up with something like Whole New World, Long Came Zeus, whatever. But Robin Hood is just one of the strongest plays you can do in Steel right now. So you're just looking for that early curve. Mulligan away Scar, mulligan away. You probably don't want Tinkerbell very early. There's no way to ramp to extra ink, so you're going to have to get there the hard way. And if you can get early locations, those matter too, especially if you are facing off against either aggression, which tends to have low power levels. So if you put out, something with a lot of health, even an early Nottingham, if they've got Lilo on the other side, one, they don't want to waste time attacking your location because that means they're losing their own lore. And then two, they hit for such a small amount anyway that these locations can really start to add up. So let's show you a few matches, see just how good it is in practice. Can gray and red combine to make something worth looking for that beautiful treasure? Let's find out. Our first match is going to be against Green Steel, so possibly discard, likely discard. As you can see, I do have the Robin Hood opening, which is pretty nice. I actually might, I think I just opt to keep this hand. It's got some, I'm happy to ink the Tinkerbell early. I've got a turn 1 play, I've even got a turn 2 play, so this feels good. The opponent starts with their own Captain Hook. Always want to keep cards that get you draw if possible, so we put out the Robin Hood. You need to be very careful if you try to quest even on an empty board with the Robin Hood, because if they have any kind of rush, you don't want to lose it. So they know the power of the pirates too. They go for the Smee. I just go ahead and get rid of the Hook, and I put out the Nottingham. They can kill this immediately if they want, but I'm fine with that because it means they're exerting both their characters. I can shift onto Robin Hood, and then Robin Hood can just challenge the Hook and be done with him. So I purposely put out the Nottingham, like, go ahead, please, come in and hit this thing. And then if they don't hit it, it's just set up for John Silver later and gets me a little bit of ink. Oh, and they got the other Robin Hood, so they didn't exert. So they're probably anticipating the shift Robin Hood, which why wouldn't you? And so now I'm like, all right, well, what do we do? I could just jam out John Silver. He does have resist, so he's immune to the other one. But I opt to get rid of him, thinking, well, it's just a single location. I put out the Maui's Fish Hook, kind of trying to bait, okay, I don't want to reveal the Robin Hood yet. I want to just, try to get them in. And I end up getting punished for this because I am not expecting the Robin's bow. And I look at that, I'm like, oh, whoops. This was not the green steel I was expecting. So I 100% get punished for that. I should have just shifted into the big Robin Hood. Now I don't have a turn. I just go ahead and ink Jim because now I have no locations. The good news is I at least have the Fish Hook. So if I need to go out there and start beating on something, I can. Here's a Flotsam and a Jetsam. Forgive me, it's actually just Flotsam. Jetsam is not on the field yet. So here, it's a little tricky. Like, normally I would want to get out Beast on turn 5, right? But he has other Robin Hood. So that says your Beast is not going to draw any cards. Drops down the Ursula, rips the whole new world out of my hand. Uh-oh, that doesn't feel good. So we're not in a great spot, but luckily my Robin Hood can take quite a beating from his Robin Hood before it dies, until he just bounces it right back to hand. And our opponent now just starts questing out. Doing pretty well. I'm not going to lie. Like, if you could see my face here, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of sweating a minute because I'm like, uh-oh, this could look really rough. Opt to get rid of the Beast. Unfortunately, he's just going to be a beater with the other Robin Hood in play. I'm never going to get the card draw, so until that board is clear, I've got to do that. So it goes up to 9, already up to 10. I opt, okay, well, let's put a second Robin Hood out there. Now I can start catching up a tiny bit. I go ahead and opt the Smee. I probably don't favor Smee as much as I should. I really should probably put out Smee more, but I'm not really planning to put Hook out either. So I can take out the Smee and I'll have more damage. But I can at least use the Fish Hook to give myself evasive. He, of course, has Robin Hood and the bow, so I'm not safe, especially with the second one. But at least this way he can't just challenge in and finish me off. Now, he does put out a Naked Ursula. No spells to follow it up. And here's where the power of card draw comes in, right? And I say, okay, well, if you're going wide, I'm going wide. Again, I'll just quest with this Robin Hood, give him evasive, and just kind of hold the line. So I do have the challenging tempo on board. He does put out Fang. Go ahead and pops me for one with the Robin Hood's bow, and can do these as well. But the evasive does matter there. The evasive, because if I didn't do that, he could have just ran Captain Hook into me. Now he has to use these Robin Hoods to finish off that, which means now his Robin Hoods are exposed for my Hook and my Robin Hood as well. So that evasive did actually matter there. We top deck the Bayou, which is an incredibly weak location, so not going to last very long. Take a moment to plan out my attacks. I send big Robin Hood into the little one. Send Hook into that one. Both cards get to survive, which is nice. I go ahead and give big Robin Hood evasive, slap out the Bayou, and pass the turn back to our opponent. Fang is getting them to lure turn, and oh my goodness, it's more. This is the match of Robin Hoods. There's a lot of Robin Hood on the board right now. The nice thing is, though, the bow only works on already damaged cards. And again, he can poke big Robin Hood for 1, but with that evasive, he can't crash much into this. Does trade out for the Hook, which is a good trade for him. Yeah, because otherwise that Flotsam could just knock Robin Hood out right now. Hook does get rid of the Bayou. So you could have argued maybe I should have inked it. Hey would have been nice with the Bayou, but was not meant to be. We just go ahead and slap it out. We're just trying to get as much on the board as we can. So I'm considering here +3 to Robin Hood, knock out the Fang. But I decide, you know what? I think I want to keep getting value with the lure. And again, I can keep making favorable trades right now, which is what's keeping me in this, is that I'm able to run into these characters while keeping my characters alive. Yeah, his Robin Hood can ping off this Robin Hood if he really wants to, but at least then he's not questing. If he's not doing that, he's questing. And there's Jetsam. So now both characters have Ward and 5 attack. The 5 attack, again, would be very scary into Big Robin Hood, but not if he can't be targeted. So that Robin Hood shoots and deals damage. He can't quest, so he can't ready the Robin's bow, which is why I wasn't personally a huge fan of that item. Here we get an Agrabah, move Hey Hey to it, so we get just a little extra power. Now I can pump up Hey Hey for a +3. Chicken takes out Fang. No one anticipated that happening. I do finally lose my Big Robin Hood, but because I get both of his effects, which are just ridiculous, I don't know why he has both effects, I now get to draw a card, and I've completely caught up in lore, which is huge. Yeah, so the power of those 2 Robin Hoods is just great. And these Flotsam Jetsam cards, they hit very hard, but they only have 2 health. So if they attack any of these, they're just going to die. But they are also great at beating down locations. And wouldn't you know it, we top deck Be Prepared. So I say, all right, let's just reset this back to normal. I considered going in for Deville Manor first, but I know I've got Agrabah. That should boost me ahead lore-wise, and just our opponent's top decking, and they top deck Robin's bow, and I double check. Okay, that can't shoot the beast, right? No, it can't. It has to be a damaged card. So now the beast is threatening to give me some lore, and they get another Deville Manor. And oh my goodness, the beast pays off immediately. We get a Rise of the Titans. But instead, I opt to give the beast +3 attack. I'm pretty positive there's nothing in this deck that's going to have rush. As a matter of fact, I don't even think there's anything in green or gray that has it. So I can freely attack with the beast. And they just have to pass their turn, and the beast is paying off huge. Here comes the Tinkerbell. Yes, it doesn't get any entry value, but not only is it threatening to go for game, I can kill the Deville Manor if for some reason I really, really had to. But I also have Rise of the Titans. So he does hit the beast, cuts off the card draw, but at this point, it's a little too late. So that's it. We got it. Bit of a weird match. Didn't get to see a whole lot of pirate theme going on there, but, you know, we what looked pretty brutal for us for a moment, right? Like there was a time that looked like that wasn't going to go so well. So I'm happy that was able to at least pull it out. All right, next we have Sapphire Ruby. This is a matchup that we will struggle against if the game goes late enough. So we are going to see if we can't get some early pressure and try to win quickly. I go ahead and give up Scar, of course. You never really want to see that card early. I don't see Big Robin Hood. There's always an argument to keep the Robin Hood in case you draw into the big one. I just don't feel like I have that kind of consistent luck, so I just try to dig a little deeper. Opponent opts for the premium turn 1 play, which is a Popsicle. I'm not seeing anything amazing to ramp into. I do have a couple locations, so in my head I'm probably thinking, okay, let's go ahead and do the John Silver. We're just going to try to get out some locations, maybe get him out, see what we can do. Maybe we can put on enough early pressure that it'll matter. Usually the one nice thing about facing blue-red is they tend to not put many bodies on the board early. They're usually looking to do Popsicle and a few other things. There's Hey Hey, so now my hook can't quest, which is a bit unfortunate. I'm a little location heavy, so I go ahead and put out the Nottingham. He can attack into this with the Hey Hey, but if he does, I can at least counter kill with the hook. And if he doesn't, John Silver's ready to have a little bit of protection on my turn. Inks to develop your brain and puts out the Sumerian Talisman, so he is going to get some card draw back, should he get that. And here we draw the uninkable Jolly Roger, which is kind of nice for a surprise that you can give a hook rush. Obviously, it doesn't matter here when this hook's already been on the board. This one I'm really trying to decide what to do. I put out John Silver. Ideally, you want to get John Silver out on turn 3, so like next turn I can drop the Agrabah behind him, and then it'll instantly boost his lore ability. Ink's a Fishbone Quill, so I'm assuming some other form of ramp. No, it's Stitch. And he probably sees the John Silver and says, yeah, no, we're not going to let that happen. And actually doesn't go in with Hey Hey like I anticipated. Runs in with both Stitches. Stitch is very annoying for me here. John Silver cannot trade into it without dying. And Hook will die as well. The nice thing is, I do have double location, which I believe is what I'm going to opt to do here. Makes it a little risky. I may have to ink the hook, the fish hook, but... So both of them can move to the Jolly Roger for free. Not that that really matters, as they both could attack anyway. And I go ahead and opt to hit the Stitch. With that double resist, now... Let's see, yeah, the Hey Hey won't kill me either, because the Hey Hey would only do 1 damage to me, which is nice. Opponent puts out a Micduck Manor, so they know the power of the location. They did opt to ink their Fishbone Quill earlier. Maybe thought they'd get the card draw back off the Talisman, but they're not ramping, and I'm okay with that. So it's like, all right, well, I'll go ahead and go to 3 lore. Now I ink the Gym, as he's not going to do anything. And I just go ahead and quest with John Silver and put the beast out. Usually red-blue, especially this early, is not going to have anything to hit the beast. So as a lot of lists just don't run Dragonfire anymore, which would be the only thing we'd really be worried about. They ink McDuck Manor, move Hey Hey to the manor to take one lore away. Considered hitting our what's it called? Locations for a second, and here's where you do get to see the Hook combo. Hook come in, move to the Jolly Roger for free, bam, he's gone. And I still have enough for Maui's Fish Hook. So yeah, he's getting 2 from the McDuck Manor. I said, you know what? I'm gonna race you. You can get your 2 a turn. I'm gonna get so much more from both my locations and John Silver as well. Here comes Madame Medusa, and he's got a choice here. Who do you pick? Do you pick the Beast or John Silver? Well, he goes for John Silver. He doesn't care about the card draw. He wants to slow down my lore gain. There's another 2 there. I do get the Beast instead. What do I have to do? We're going to make him evasive, and I say, okay, well, I hope you got another Madame Medusa, because here's your 3rd location, and we'll just move the Beast to the Bayou in case he quests. I could have done that first, but I wasn't really looking to draw a discard. But that probably was technically the proper play, as I'm likely not looking to Be Prepared here. The value you can learn with the replay, matey. So he can send Medusa into the Bayou. All right, you prevented 1 lore. And then he hits with his own Be Prepared. Feels a little bad, but I do have Agrabah, which is competing with McDuck Manor. And look at that. Sometimes the game just gives it to you. Top deck Maui, take out McDuck Manor. He's on top deck mode, and I'm even with a Maui, I'm just saying, yeah, I'm going to win in 2 turns. So what are you going to do about it? Does draw Develop Your Brain, which is at least a nice top deck. Gives you access to something. I have no plans to Whole New World here, as I'm not even going to give our opponent a chance to answer us, since I can just be patient for 2 turns and win the game. Gaston is very good. Hits for 4. Not quite enough to take out either of these locations. And being able to take out a location in 1 shot is quite important in this game. Here's a Jim. And you know what? I say, okay, let's just play him out anyway. As if I put out Jim, now he has to answer both Agrabah and Jim. Again, Maui can't quest for anything, so even a Be Prepared doesn't do it. Gaston isn't enough to take out Agrabah on his own, but in case he drew a rush that could run into Agrabah. Gets Hades, not a bad card, but again, Gaston not enough to take out Agrabah. So locations are going to win it for us this game. Give a nice well played. And yeah, the early pressure in that early John Silver really helped. Top decks at the right time never hurt either. This is our 3rd match. We are going against Steel Amethyst. So is this Jafar Whole New World? Very likely. So we do have early Robin Hood, no baby Robin Hood. I do have the Legacy and Jim, and so I opted, you know what? Let's keep it. Let's see what we can get into. Of course, I then draw into baby Robin Hood, so I'm like, maybe I should have kept it. Nonetheless, honestly, putting out baby Robin Hood turn 1 is never bad either, because even if you don't have the big one, a lot of people pretty much just have to assume you do. So I opt to put out small Robin Hood. Do have 2 uninkables in my hand, which is a bit unfortunate. But we're trying to go for that RLS Legacy John turn. Puts out a Chip Teacup. Haven't seen this in a minute. And of course, there's bit. Now we do have big Robin Hood. So now I'm thinking, ooh, well, we'll get rid of Rise of the Titans. You never know if you're going to need that. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. A hair risky putting out the Bayou, but since I'm anticipating aggression with the Pascal and now the Chip Teacup, I thought, well, again, if he's not questing for lore and he's just running into the Bayou, I think I'm okay with that. Drops a smash on Robin Hood, so there goes our plans to shift into the big one, even if we had it. So we happily let go of that and say, all right, it's time for locations, mateys. Cue the Pirates of the Caribbean theme, because John Silver is coming for ya. Even though Treasure Planet's not really Pirates of the Caribbean at all. But whatever, you get the reference. Ops for Kita, and it's a Rafiki. Holy mo! I was like, what? Rafiki? Nobody's played that card in a hot minute. We get our 2nd Jim, so 2 is definitely more than we need. And I could just naturally drop the RLS Legacy here. But I again, sensing kind of aggression, I could have dropped the 2nd John Silver there too, but I'm a hair worried just in case I were to draw an uninkable card. I want to be able to ink something so I can do the John Silver play. Drops another Rafiki. I mean, this is just like small body Amethyst. I don't know if we saw the Smash was the only steel card. Have to give up the John Silver, unfortunately. I really don't want to give up the Beast. And I'm like, oh, do I do the Beast and hope for card draw? He did have a Smash, so he might just stop it right away. So let's go in on the Legacy. There it is. There's the combo. Jim Hawkins riding the waves of the wind. Now he's likely going to run Rafiki into it, but opts not to. I was like, oh, I thought he was really going to go. And here I see with the Aladdin quest for 2. So actually he says, nah, I don't care about your location. I'm just going to rush ahead of you. So I definitely have this moment of panic, like, uh-oh. I want to quest with this Jim, but I was like, nah, I need to slow him down. So I run into the smallest thing on the field. Jim does have evasive. So I do get to take out the Pascal, and now I move the Beast to the Legacy too. So now they have evasive. So now our opponent can't hit us even if they want to. So he has a choice. You need to either come after the Legacy or just try to race ahead of me. Smashes the Beast in the face, so no card draw for us. Unfortunate. And then just says, yeah, I don't care about your location. I'm just going to try to outrace you. Lucky. Oh my goodness. Were we lucky or what? Draw another Beast. Run Jim in. The Beast, unfortunately, is going to die whatever he runs into. So we do the next one, move him to the Legacy. Still can't hit us. We just gotta try to stabilize. Gotta try to stabilize. If he can't hit the Beast, we'll at least get the card draw advantage. There's our second card. And I'm like, ooh, hey. I as much as I wanted to put Robin Hood out, hey, siphoning the one lore could be huge. And yeah, you can tell I'm counting up the lore values now. I'm like, do I attack again? I really want to quest with Jim, but I'm like, do I just give? Yeah, so I decide, you know what? I think I can catch up in the race here. Because I calculated what he has. He can go to 17. I was like, I think I can catch up here. Drops a goat, which is the last thing I want to see. And I even have a moment where I'm thinking, oh, no, not the goat, not the goat. We can go to 18. We've got a Nottingham. I decide not to move, but I can now because of this move hey back, which is kind of nice. Put out the John Silver, and I have to attack. I've got to clear this board off. And the nice thing is him being on 5, there's no way for him to do a goat bounce next turn, even if he quests with the goat, because I think I have to take out the chip here too, if I'm not mistaken. I quest with the Beast, yeah, I take out the chip. Even if he quests with the goat for 18, bounces it with the snake for 19, he cannot replay it. So, and I'm like, I did this math right. Yep, here comes a Benja. That's not enough. Well played indeed. Whew. Early aggression, a little scary, but the locations, again, here's the power of the locations in here as we get that big John Silver hit, that your opponent, they're kind of weird, right? If they're going too fast, they don't help you take down your opponent. But if they're going just slow enough that you can keep pace with them, they allow you to catch up, which is really nice. So locations in general are just, I feel like if you're ahead, they just kind of put you more ahead. And if you're behind, they mostly keep you more behind. Because again, they're not dealing with your opponent's characters. But that was one of those rare instances where they were going just slow enough and we were able to hold the tempo just enough to let our locations come up and help us out. And the Legacy actually made a difference there, giving the evasive. Not only could they not counterpunch, but letting us hit cards like the Pascal. Yar, our final match be a mirror match. Steel Red. Steel Ruby versus Steel Ruby. I always mix and match the ink, the actual like gems and the colors. So RLS Legacy, a little early. I don't hate the John Silver. I just would prefer something a little lower, maybe looking for a 1-drop. We get Robin Hood. We are going second here. So we will be playing Respond and Catch Up. Our opponent inks Robin Hood. Is it going to be for Robin Hood? Or are we going to do the Robin Hood standoff? No, goes for the Bayou. Goes for that early location. So this opponent says, yeah, I know the power of the locations. Do you know the power of locations? I always hate giving up a Beast, but I do have 2 of them. So hoping that it matters. I get out the Robin Hood. Not enough to threaten this in one shot. Unfortunately. And our opponent offers a Minnie Mouse. I feel pretty safe going in here with the Robin Hood. I don't have a big one to shift onto. I reluctantly ink Smash. I'm always tempted to save Smash, but they don't have their own Robin Hood, so I'm not anticipating a shift. So I was like, okay, I'll put out my own, and I'll start trying to chip away at his Bayou, which has already gotten him to lore. Ooh, he's got a big Cinderella in there. That's going to be tough to deal with. And there's Robin Hood. Now I'm kind of wishing that I had that Smash. I was like, ah, crap. He probably is going to shift onto it now. So he does kind of start to get the scry with the Bayou. Pretty good, being on 3 ink already. Rise of the Titans isn't terrible, but it's like, well, I'm not going to waste it on that. So here comes John Silver. I don't feel great running Robin Hood into that because if he shifts Big Robin Hood, it gives him such a free pick for me. He can just pick off my Robin Hood, get 2 lore out of it. But no, surprisingly, goes for an Along Came Zeus. And just shreds my John Silver. Says, no, I know your game, sir. So opponent just has an answer to everything we've done so far. I put out my second John Silver. I now crash into his Robin Hood saying, well, even if you were planning to shift, no, I'm not allowing that. I am ready to set up with an Agrabah next turn. Then John Silver will be a bit more resilient. Except he gets the Maui. Kills poor Nottingham. But we do have the Beast. So now I just go ahead and get rid of the Agrabah. The Agrabah's pointless. It's not going to do anything while Maui is there. I opt to crash Silver into Minnie Mouse. Just get something off his board. Yeah, it's going to die to the Maui, but without locations, Silver just doesn't do much anyway. So I said, this is fine. Is it the right call is the question. So Maui runs into John Silver. And we get the fish hook, which is not bad. I'm sure I opt to put that down. Fishhook is nice. I can now quest in his face. Well, if I were to save for the evasive, but I go for the Smee. I probably should have. And there's an Agrabah, but again, Fishhook lets me deal with this Agrabah in one shot, which is very nice. Now we get Big Robin Hood, who I do opt to ink. And what do I do here? So, yep, I give it to Smee because, again, if Maui wants to run into Smee, they take each other out. And my whole plan right now is like, let's just let the Beast draw us back into this game. The only thing that would suck is be prepared. Be prepared. Dun, dun, dun. Now, as bad as that feels, I have the Beast, so I have a way to continually get card draw. So I'm like, no, this is okay. We can get back into this. Except he top decks Along Came Zeus. I was just like, are you kidding me? All right, here's a third Beast. What do you say to that? Top decks Agrabah. I've got my own Along Came Zeus. I go, yeah, well, see you how you like it. Now we're going to give the Beast evasive and start questing, try to catch up. And I'm feeling great at this moment because I'm like, oh my gosh, he's got no cards in hand, empty board, except another Along Came Zeus. I'm just like, oh no, are you kidding me? And I get a location, but it's the Jolly Roger, which isn't worth anything. Yes, I could Whole New World, as you've seen. I'm holding it in my hands, but I'm just, the Beast made me feel like, well, no, I don't need to because, because he's in top deck mode and I'll be getting extra card draw. But now he has his own Beast and an Eric and a Minnie Mouse Surfer. And so unfortunately now, okay, I was like, I'll put out the Robin Hood and then I can sing the Whole New World. And that way I can still get some use out of it. Switch to the Bayou. He does have 6 lore on board. Eric is a pain for our deck because he can just one-shot any of our stuff. And he's just going wide now, saying, all right, well, runs Eric into the Bayou. Oddly enough, runs Minnie Mouse into it too. It's only 1 lore a turn, so I was kind of surprised he didn't just quest out, but yeah, I don't know. So I opt to give Robin Hood evasive, take out the Minnie Mouse. This is a really favorable trade for me. I'll gain some lore. And then I put out the Bayou, or the Nottingham. I actually moved to the Jolly Roger, just legit hoping to psych him out. Like, well, maybe he'll go for the one I'm currently attached to. Gets his own Robin Hood. I mean, the top decks in this game are just nuts. Good card after good card after good card. And you can tell he's thinking about it. Like, well, maybe I do just run into these locations. Eric sucks because, yeah, I can't take out the Eric without losing Robin Hood myself. Just quest with the Eric saying, inviting me in, come on, go ahead and deal with this. And I top deck the Legacy. So now I'm trying to think, well, maybe my plan here is just locations. Let's just go location heavy. I go ahead and give Robin Hood evasive and quest and say, okay, maybe I can just outrace him at this point. I've got my locations. I've got my... But he drops another Eric. And this is where I'm like, yeah, I kind of wish I had my own Be Prepared now at this point. There's a Robin Hood into the legacy. There's Hercules. Is he going to use the beast? No, he's got the shift Hercules. Doesn't shift before running in. That I'm not sure. Maybe a misplay because the Hercules hits for 6. Could have just knocked it out. But we go to 13 and I keep getting the tinker. Like, I wonder if at home you're watching thinking, dude, you just need a whole new world. You just need a whole new world here. But I'm also like, oh, I keep drawing not only playable things, I just don't want to refill his hand. I'm thinking, well, maybe his top decks will crap out here at some point. What do I do? So I give plus attack. I take out the opposing Robin Hood. It does let him draw a card, but it also lets me get some lore. Possibly a mistake, I put out the Tinkerbell. And I say mistake just because if I had made Robin Hood evasive... No, not possibly a mistake. It was a mistake because now he can crash an Eric into my Robin Hood and then just kill the Tinkerbell for free, which for some reason, despite the fact I'd been thinking of it the past 3 turns, I completely forgot. Any of you get that where you're like zoned in on an idea? Okay, gotta be aware of this, gotta be aware of this, gotta be aware of this, and then you forget it the moment it matters. Yeah, so that was a complete mistake. I should have just given Robin Hood evasive. Robin Hood on his own was letting me get ahead, but I got greedy and just, oh yeah, Tinkerbell, I'll play Tinkerbell, and then not worth it. Not worth it. If I'd have been patient there, maybe. So he finally takes out the Legacy, takes out Nottingham, the Beast quests. I had such a good questing lead, but it doesn't matter now. Rise of the Titans doesn't do anything. My plan now is like, okay, I may just have to be prepared. So we give Maui evasive. We take out the Beast. This way he survives. He can't counter with the Eric or the Hercules. Just move him to the Jolly Roger just for nothing. And I'm pretty much at the point, I was like, you know what, though? Maui can still sing A Whole New World. So that's what we'll do. Top deck's another Robin Hood. Like, good golly, Miss Molly top deck. Absolute insanity. And now he's threatening so much lore. It's like, well, I don't know what to do, so now I need to be prepared. All right, Maui, sing it. A whole new world. And it was like when that was drawing in real time, the slow motion, I was just like, oh my God, like I'm not going to get it. And it showed up as the final card there. Now I'm 5 lore away. Our opponent is 3. We just got to rush down. Unfortunately, I gave them a whole new hand. A whole new hand. That's what the card should have been called. And so I just go wide. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe we can do this. Even if he be prepared, this at least uses most of his inkwell. He shouldn't have much else on that turn. I can't yet, and counters with his own be prepared. If I'd have had 4, I would have 100% dropped the Legacy. Puts out Agrabah. I'm like, ah, crap. But we draw Maui, and so I'm like, oh my goodness, what do I do? Okay, I can put out the Legacy, setting up my own. Here's my Maui. I also considered Along Came Zeus, but I thought, well, you know what? Maybe. So I don't know if the Zeus would have been, but I saved that's why I saved the Zeus because I thought if he puts out a character that I have to deal with, the Zeus can hit a readied character, whereas the Maui can only challenge. So. Our opponent puts out Prince Eric, and Lady Tremaine. So Maui's going bye-bye. Our opponent now is threatening to go to 21 on their turn. So I either have to win now or hold a turn. So what I opt to do, and maybe I take out the Eric. They both quest for 2, plus this way he can't counter-kill me with the Eric. And I just put out Robin Hood. And I'm feeling okay. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hold a card in hand just to kind of psych him out. The extra ink doesn't matter much at this point. He has to deal with both Robin Hood and the RLS Legacy. Otherwise, I'm going to win on my turn. Can he do it? Opts to hard cast A Whole New World. And I'm like, okay. I returned the thanks that he said earlier when I Whole New World for him. And I've got Hey too, so I'm like, wow, if nothing else, I can Hey and like siphon off a lore. and uses Along Came Zeus to hit the Legacy and runs in with the Tremaine. Ugh. Then drops the Bayou and a Robin Hood and a Robin Hood. And I'm just like, no, I needed the Legacy. He has exactly 5 lore on board. 1 from the location, 2 from each Robin Hood, and 1 for the Tremaine. So I'm just like, well, I can do a Be Prepared to reset the board. Then I leave the Bayou on the... I don't have enough to... I could Be Prepared and Agrabah. I could Hey to siphon points. I have a lot of choices here, and I'm trying to figure out, what do I even do? Like, what is the right line of play here? So I'm going to see what I do and then analyze it. Looks like I'm opting for Be Prepared. Hit the Be Prepared. Moves me. And attack the Bayou. And I ink the Tinkerbell. And do I put out? No, I give Smee evasive. Okay, so that's what I opt to do. And looking back on it, I can absolutely understand why I did this. Again, I cleared his entire board. Not only did I clear his characters, I cleared his location. So now I have an evasive Smee. So in my head, I'm thinking he has to have direct removal. He cannot send a Maui in. He cannot do anything else. Something else I could have done, Be Prepared and then put out the Agrabah, because then he also has to have, now he does have to have Maui, or I think Maui's really the only, or like double Stitch or something with Rush, essentially, to deal with the Agrabah. But this I feel decent about. He can attack the Smee. Drops Mini Mouse Surfer. I'm like, well, that's evasive, but it doesn't have Rush. And then drops Maleficent Dragon. Oh, no. It kills the Smee. I'm 1 lore away. And at this point, I'm out of removal. I can drop Hey to siphon lore, which will put him to 16, which is exactly enough. Exactly enough. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's 16. He still has exactly 4 to get there. I drop Hey. Unfortunately, you can't Hey multiple times in a turn. Maybe that would have been too strong. I sure wish I could hear a second Hey and anything. So, yep, we get out as many locations as we can. We ink our Tinkerbell. There's nothing we can do. This game goes to our opponent. So, heck of a game. What a slobber knocker. I wonder if they had anything in hand that could have killed the Agrabah. Like, would that have been safe? Or if they had Maui, it wouldn't have mattered. Agrabah would have just died anyway. So, doesn't matter. But yeah, we tried. We gave it a heck of a try. But you can just see the power of these locations, especially in the presence of something like Be Prepared, where your opponent has to... it gets rid of the characters, but it leaves the locations there. So that's why Maui is quite strong right now. And our opponent's just styling on it for right now. Playing out their hand. And that is the game. Back to the deck. Yar, and that be the deck. What did you think, mateys? It's a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed these colors quite a bit. If you really wanted to go into the pirate theme, you can put in pirates here, and you can see here all the ones in these colors. A lot of Captain Hooks. This hook is actually quite good, especially if you can shift him, but you probably don't want to pay 5 early. And this hook you have to use Fire the Cannons with. This one as well. They're all not bad if they have Rush, or in the case of this one, if you can shift them on. But without Rush, so look at both these cards. They both cost 5. A 6/5, well, this is just Maui, except it doesn't have Rush or, it doesn't have Reckless. So you have to have the Jolly Roger out. And for me personally, it was just too inconsistent to always see the Jolly Roger with the pirates. And this hook, it's honestly his health. He dies to a goat. He dies to a Madam Mim Fox. There are too many things that hit for 4. And so he's essentially like a soft Scar, except he often dies to the first thing he hits. Really good, I guess, if you're facing a Peter Pan, but... The Kakamuras are nice, but they're uninkable. I'd rather play Hey for 1 less, and he's inkable. I know you have to have a location where you're going to have this Scroop. I would kind of like better maybe if he was reversed, that if he didn't have damage, he had the +3, but the fact that he has to hurt something first for that, just not a big fan. So I opted to cut some of these more pirate characters just because, why go 5 on Starkey to get a single +1 when John Silver just gives you all you need? So... there you go. That's really good. Feel free to add in, if you need more Rise of the Titans, or grab your swords would be really nice for board clear, but I think Be Prepared handles that pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with the list overall. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are there any pirates you've had success with? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Till next time, take care, you landlubbers.